Good Shabbos again, everyone. Earlier this week, I had the opportunity to make a visit to Los Angeles. It's always good to go to Southern California during this hot season in Houston. And why was I there? I had an opportunity to go to my rabbinical school, the Ziegler School of Rabbinic Studies at the American Jewish University. There are two conservative seminaries in the United States, in New York and where I went, in Los Angeles. And I went for two reasons. This past Monday morning was an opportunity for all the graduates who graduated 20 years ago, 21 years ago like myself, or 22 years ago to receive our honorary doctorates. Now it sounds impressive maybe, but really all it means is I graduated more than 20 years ago and I'm still breathing. But it was a nice honor. And it was wonderful to connect with professors, classmates, to be back in my rabbinical school. And then later that day in the evening, I had an incredible blessing to be at the ordination of 7 new rabbis, including Kevin Lefkowitz. You may know his parents, Jeff and Beth Lefkowitz, or his grandparents, his grandmothers who are still with us, grandfathers, may they rest in peace. His triplets, his 2 sisters and brother, younger sisters and brother, who all grew up here in our congregation. Kevin grew up here at Beth Yeshurun and now is a conservative rabbi. And we can be very proud of Kevin, who landed a wonderful job in Los Angeles, where he'll be the solo rabbi at Adat Shalom, a small shul on the west side of LA. And I know it'll be a great opportunity for Kevin and his congregation. And of course, we're very proud, as I've said before, of our own Neil Teibel, who's studying to be a cantor at the Jewish Theological Seminary in New York and has 2 years left. But to me, he already sounds like a cantor. And we are so blessed to have Neil, another young man who grew up in our congregation. But tonight, not only do I want to offer congratulations to the Lefkowitz family and, of course, the Teibel family and Neil's ongoing studies, but I also want, in a way, to sound the alarm that we in the conservative movement need more rabbis and we need more cantors. Today, there's actually a shortage of rabbis and cantors. Now, you may have thought we just had a shortage of cars and baby formula, but we actually have not enough rabbis or cantors. I mentioned the ordination this past Monday night. There was only 7 graduates. The rabbinical school I went to, the Ziegler School, has had almost a 50% drop in enrollment over the last 10 years. In order to encourage more students to attend, they recently announced that in the future, beginning this upcoming school year, they'll be slashing tuition by nearly 80%. If they only would have done that when I was in rabbinical school. JTS, where Rabbi Morgan went to rabbinical school, has had a 43% drop in enrollment over the past 10 years. The conservative movement this past December warned congregations throughout the movement, throughout North America, that there were 80 openings, but only 50 available rabbis. 30 congregations were going to not have an opportunity to hire a conservative rabbi. So this past February, for the first time ever in the history of our movement, the movement said that conservative synagogues like ours could actually hire rabbis outside of the conservative movement. And if you did, they may have hired Reform rabbis that were more traditional, or even modern Orthodox rabbis who were more liberal. It was an opportunity to do what they could to fill the spots that were available. And yet, still some spots were available. Spots went unfulfilled. Many congregations in all regions of the United States. Why is there a shortage of rabbis today? And is there anything that you and I can do here at Congregation Beth Yeshurun? The simple fact is, there are less non-Orthodox Jews than ever before in the United States. Just look at the demographics. Over the years, non-Orthodox Jews are having less and less children. And that makes sense because non-Orthodox Jews are getting married later and later. Many of you have children or grandchildren. You may be pestering them to get married. You may be trying to add on a little Jewish guilt. But you notice, like I do, that it's now very normal for couples to date for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years before they decide to get married. That wasn't the case 1 or 2 generations ago, where people would get married within a few months. And the later a couple gets married, naturally, they'll have less children. And people throughout the United States are having less children. So from a demographic standpoint, there are just less Jews. We may not feel it so much at Beth Yeshurun. Thank God our membership is stable. And we will continue to do what we can to make sure that our membership continues to grow. But for many congregations throughout the United States, there are simply less Jews, less non-Orthodox Jews. Orthodox friends tend to have more children. They get married earlier. And so there's a growing pool of Orthodox Jews throughout the United States. Number 2, youth groups aren't as strong as they used to be. USY, it's very difficult for to encourage children to get involved in USY, the conservative movement's youth movement. Even BBYO, it's hard to get young people to be involved. Why is that the case? There's never been more competition to get into college. Young people feel a sense that they need to work or make better grades or take the SAT or the ACT 3, 4, 5 times. Trust me, I've now been through the college application process twice, and I'm not looking forward to another year. It's a full-time job, and the competition is stiff. And so, unfortunately, parents don't see youth group as an important opportunity for their children when it really is a great opportunity to build young people's resumes. And so parents aren't encouraging their children as much as they used to join youth groups. And youth groups were always a great pipeline into the seminaries because it was when youth group, people like myself, I often look back in my childhood, and first and foremost, it was my leadership experiences growing up in Dallas and BBYO that first planted the seed that, maybe I want to do this for a career. I love leading study groups, leading my fellow Jews in other opportunities, getting involved in the community. But if you have less young Jews involved in youth groups, that's a smaller pipeline. Less people are involved in a natural pipeline into rabbinical schools. And number 3, and the pandemic has only added to this, there's a burnout amongst clergy throughout the United States, not just rabbis, but ministers as well. Rabbi Morgan and Rabbi Fort, I know, can relate to the experiences of the last few years. I wasn't trained to be able to offer my expertise on whether or not we should wear masks or whether or not we should close synagogue in dealing with all the social distancing rules that we've had to deal with over the last few years. Many rabbis have quit. Many ministers have quit over the last few years. They simply felt burnt out. And so there are less clergy in all denominations across North America. And it's harder for young people to be attracted to a profession when they see so much burnout amongst the clergy. So first and foremost, what can we do? We need to do more to get our young people involved. Thank God we have a very strong Kehillah High here in Houston, which in many ways serves as an active youth group. They meet every Wednesday night. They do social action, they come together for fun activities, and they do some learning. Thank God our Emory Weiner School is strong. There's not enough available spots for all the Jewish children that want to go to Emory Weiner. And perhaps and hopefully some of those kids eventually will become rabbis and cantors. We need to provide more opportunities for our young to get involved in synagogue life, in youth group life, in study opportunities, in social action opportunities, to show them that getting involved in Jewish life is something that perhaps they should think about doing when they get older. And number 2, I need to do a better job of expressing not only to all of you, but especially to our young people, just how fulfilling being a rabbi can be. Every day I pinch myself that I am blessed to be a rabbi at a congregation like Beth Yeshurun. How fortunate I am to get paid to do mitzvot every single day. to have a career where I'm encouraged to study, to learn, to get involved, to help fellow Jews, to be with them in times of trouble, and to celebrate with them in times of joy. Not a week goes by where I don't be with families. I'm with them at the end of life, whether it's at a funeral or a Shiva minyan, a condolence call, or as I did yesterday, I was with a dear woman who was about to pass away. That happens every week. And it's challenging, and it's hard, but you know that you can make a difference. To me, being a rabbi gives an opportunity for any young person to find a career that is fulfilling, a career that is never boring, a career that is busy, but a career that you can really make a positive difference. I need to do a better job saying to our young people, the young people that are involved, the young people that I see that have great potential opportunities, great leadership potential, that perhaps they should think about becoming a rabbi. I need to say to so many of our students who have wonderful voices, I wasn't one of them, but I need to say to them, perhaps you should consider being a cantor. Perhaps all of us need to do a better job. If you know a young person in the community, perhaps someone in your own family, that maybe being a doctor is not for them, or a lawyer, or an accountant. Maybe being a rabbi or a cantor is for them. Tell them, go speak to Rabbi Ford, or Rabbi Morgan, or Rabbi Strauss, or Neil, or Cantor Goldman when she arrives in a few months. And I promise you, all of us will do our best to share the beautiful experience it is being a clergy at a congregation like Beth Yeshurun. Perhaps all of us need to do a better job encouraging our young to consider the rabbinate or consider being a cantor, because it truly is a wonderful career opportunity for so many of our young. This past week when I was in Los Angeles, I was reminded of the honor I have every day as serving as one of your rabbis. And I think I need to share more of this with our young every single day. We have been fortunate here at Beth Yeshurun. We've never had a problem attracting extraordinary cantors and rabbis. I had the blessing of learning from two of the best rabbis in the world, Rabbi Siegel and Rabbi Rosen. And I hope and pray that I'll have opportunities in the future to teach future cantors and rabbis. But to do so, I need your help. Let's continue to make sure that Beth Yeshurun is an attractive option for cantors and rabbis throughout the conservative movement, so that we always have a strong clergy presence here at Congregation Beth Yeshurun. I've asked Neil this evening to prepare one of my favorite songs. It's a song you know, as we contemplate on the idea of inspiring our young to make a difference, to get more involved, and to consider a position as a rabbi or cantor one day.
Gonna make a change for once in my life. It's gonna feel real good. It's gonna make a difference. Gonna make it right. And as I turn up the collar on my favorite winter coat, this wind is blowing my mind. Some kids in the street with not enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their needs? A summer's disregard, a broken bottle top, and a one-man soul. They follow each other on the wind, you know, 'cause they got nowhere to go. And so I want you to know I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways, and no message could have been any clearer. been a victim of a selfish kind of love. It's time that I realize that there's someone with no home, not a nickel to loan. Who me, pretending that they're not alone. Oh, willow deeply sky, somebody's broken heart in a washed out dream. They follow the pattern on the wind, you see, 'cause they got no place to be. So why I'm starting with me, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways, and no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways, and no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways, and no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. Gotta get it right while you got the time. It's when you close your heart and then you close your mind. That man with that man in the mirror. Oh yeah, I'm asking him to change his ways, and no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. Woo! Woo! Na 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 na. Yeah, gonna feel good now. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Na 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 na. Oh no, gonna make a change. It's gonna feel real good.